Look at us. Who would have
We should
thought? Look at
every
Each
us.
from a
segment we
different
should
style too.
every segment we should change to a new hat. We could all theoretically do that.
I know I could. I have more hats than both of you.
Yeah, but
Why would we want to?
it'd be funny to confuse our audience.
No.
I'm pretty sure most people just listen to this anyway.
I've become best friends with them.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm festive.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Dear Hollow Heroes. And as always, I'm here with Robespierre Rob Kelly,
That'd be me.
Whoa.
I am him.
Meek Man Liam Meekum.
Whoa. What was that?
It's been a couple weeks since we've published an episode, so I feel like we should change the order.
Why?
I don't know. I just
Remember what happened last time you tried to get creative with the intro?
what
You ended up calling yourself just Ben Petrick.
I mean, isn't it cool though?
And why did you look like Sketch when you were doing it? Hello? Like, that was crazy.
I did?
Yes.
I really was meaning to wind up my arm, but then it just looked like I was doing the sketch.
Yeah.
See? All right. Well, sorry, sketch. All right, let's get straight into the top story. So, the first half of the MLB season has come to a close, and we have begun the second half post All-Star break. So, there's a lot of teams that are kind of in the playoff picture and kind of out of it. So, a lot of teams vying for those 3 wild card spots. Which team do you guys think should get in that isn't currently in the wild card, and which team do you think will exit the wild card? I will give you the standings in just 2 seconds, but Rob, you can go first on this one.
All right. First and foremost, I'm saying that the Arizona Diamondbacks somehow sneak their way and get a wild card spot. They don't currently have one. The final 3 in the NL right now are Atlanta, St. Louis, and New York, with Philly, the Dodgers, and Milwaukee having the actual secured positions of division winners at this time.
Yeah, that's correct.
The Arizona is only a game out. They have Pittsburgh and San Diego above them. They went to the World Series last year. They only made their team better in the offseason, and they'll probably do more in the, during the trade deadline. So of teams in the NL that are not in it right now, I'm saying Arizona's bumping up.
The team I have to go in that I think that the one I have that go in, I think the Mariners are going to end up getting the wild card spot. I don't think they're going to win the division. I think Houston's just too experienced and know how to win the big games. So now that they have the lead, I don't think they're going to lose it. And I think they're going to take out Minnesota. I think Minnesota is it's doing good and they're playing really well, but I don't think they have that it factor on that team to pull ahead of Kansas City enough in the playoff picture.
I also have Seattle. I do think they're going to beat Houston. I don't think Houston's the same team. I think they got hot for a little bit, but we saw them get extremely cold and extremely hot, and we don't know what's coming for them, and they could easily go through a dry spell. It's not like they have a good lead. I mean, what are they, 1 game up? Yeah, they're 1 game up. So, I mean, one cold stretch from Houston could mean the Seattle Mariners win that division.
True. And I think that the Houston Astros have like 3 of the players in the league that are, I would say, are the top most disappointing. Like Chas McCormick, Alex Bregman at times. Like the beginning of the season, Alex Bregman's kind of tuned it better. And number one, I'd say the number one disappointment player of the entire year is Jose Abreu. He has been, I don't even think he plays anymore for them. He was so bad. So, like, they have a lot of disappointments on that team. They kind of figured out the right lineup, but how long can that go for? I see your point, but I
The only thing sorry.
No, go.
The only thing I see to counter the Houston argument is that Houston is inevitable. We've seen this before several times every season where they dip and they come back, they dip, they come back. I just think Houston, don't get me wrong. If there's a year where they don't make it, it'd be this year. But I think I can't count them out until they're mathematically eliminated.
I just think Dusty Baker was inevitable.
I could see
Mm,
that. But I'm going to be a little fair to Rob's argument, Rob and Liam's argument here. I'm going to be fair to both of you. For starters, the team has been playing a lot worse. And I don't know who feels more confident in their answer after this, but if you look at the winning streaks that they put together, the only team that was a really convincingly winning team, one of those that are like they're a playoff team that they beat in the series is Baltimore. They swept them.
And
Every
Baltimore's
other
been playing bad.
series is teams that are in 500 or they're not playing well. They beat a series against St. Louis, which is a middling team, beat the Angels. Come on, they're the Angels. They lost to San Francisco. They beat Detroit barely. Then they beat the White Sox, Rockies, Mets before, like right after Grimace, that like right there, and Toronto and Miami. Every other series they've really not won against a convincing team. Like
Yeah,
they
those
just
aren't very impressive teams.
they're not impressive wins. That's how I could say it.
Yeah.
So I would say they are winning and they know how to beat the teams they need to beat, which sides with Rob, but on Liam's accord, the teams they have beat have not shown people really anything.
they
So
are in first place in the West right now.
yeah, they are. They are for now though, because the Mariners are right behind them by like one game, I believe. So it's for now. But personally, I think Houston's going to win it off of Rob's theory that they are inevitable. I just think they just all know what they're doing. And Jose Altuve, I think the most inevitable person over Dusty Baker, Jose Altuve, is
True.
inevitable. He is inevitable. He's gonna get the hit. So I would say like that alone, and the fact that one of the more disappointing players in the league on the Mariners has been Julio Rodriguez has not been the greatest. Their pitching has been phenomenal, but their hitting has been abysmal. So the Mariners aren't too trustworthy right now. So that's how I would say with that. But you guys ready for stat of the week?
Give it to them.
All right, stat of the week I think is going to be a little bit more of a heated topic than the top story. But I have to say, I heard that you guys had a conversation about the Toronto Blue Jays and who they should trade, and like we always have these conversations. Like some of the conversations we have on Dear All Heroes, we have like 12 more outside Dear All Heroes, and one of them I had to bring to the episode was to talk about Bo Bichette because Bo Bichette is one of the more crazy season to season, last season to this season kind of players. Because if you look at his stats, it kind of comes out of nowhere. This is a guy that has had a career batting average going into the season of 299, meaning he has hit over 300 most of his career. And then he has been a batting champ contender, two-time most hits in the league, AL, meaning. I think it was 21 and 22. But this season, it kind of all has kind of faded away. It's like he's barely hitting over the Mendoza line. He's hitting 223. His OBP is 276. He slugs 321. And comparatively, if you look at last season, he batted 306. And then in the season before, every season before that, 1/3 of the time he was on base. He had a 333 on base percentage every season or higher before. This season, he can't even get to 300. I would say he's one of the more disappointing players in the league. Who do you guys think is the most disappointing player in the league?
The most disappointing?
And by the way, that was just to finish an argument, Rob. Bo Bichette should 100% be traded over Vladimir Guerrero.
Yes. Bubba's outright said he expects to be traded by the deadline.
Did he really?
Yes. He's outright said it to the press.
I think it's got to be. I mean, that team is it's pretty much hot garbage at this point.
And I think that partially, not entirely, most players, even when they know they're getting traded, they're still playing their best. But that does get to you mentally, especially after a long season, knowing like I'm playing for a team that doesn't want to keep me anymore. Like why do I?
They don't want to keep him, and they're not in contention. He's playing for nothing.
Exactly. And that that's a big thing on why Bobichet's been playing poorly. Uh, Another contender for biggest disappointment, I'm gonna put out Corbin Carroll, just because
That's who I was gonna say.
sure you could say it's a sophomore slump after winning Rookie of the Year last year, but just comparatively, it is far and away just a worse year. His batting average is a 209 and his on base is a 299. He's also just not hitting the ball, not putting the ball in play, barely getting on base. He's still stealing when he's on base, but his strikeout percentage is higher and his walk percentage is lower. He's just swinging at the ball more, and it's just not connecting for him.
So that's always kind of what it felt like to me. Last year it was lightning in a bottle. And that's why I didn't really love the Diamondback picks for this year either. Because it always felt to me like, yeah, they got something right this year and they're playing really well and it carried them, very far, but it always felt like they were just gonna drop off the next year. They didn't have the big names, the talent to really secure a roster for years, and they were relying largely on a guy that was, good in his rookie season, but we didn't know, in Corbin Carroll. And other than that, there weren't many stars carrying that roster. So to see him playing like this, I just don't believe in that team, and I don't know. I don't know how good he's going to be at this point.
Well, we can't disrespect a huge all-star snub in Christian Walker, and Ketel Marte is phenomenal as well. But I'd say there's an even bigger disappointment on the Diamondbacks alone. That's Jordan Montgomery, because his you could kind of throw it a little bit on Scott Boras. They made that guy wait so long to get on a team just to go and on it for what, a couple-year deal, and he has been horrendous. He's been booed off of the mound numerous times. His ERA is, I think, above 5 right now, and this is a guy that was supposed to be their new second ace, kind of like 1B ace to Zach Gallen, and he has been abysmal to start the season. It's just been going downhill for Jordan Montgomery. But in my opinion, another huge disappointment to me is Cedric Mullins. I think Cedric Mullins would have been, you could say, they have Gunner now. They have Mountcastle, who's finally playing really well. They have Adley, of course. They have Westberg, who's an all-star. They have Burns. But at the end of the day, the guy that was carrying the 60-win team is now the lackluster player, and he's not old. He's still in his 20s, and it's just a disappointment because he kind of was the guy that deserved to be one of the faces of this new regime
But
because
he's
he's
also kind of been sloping off for a little bit now.
yeah, but this was a huge drop. It was a
Yeah,
little
it
bit
was a huge drop, but the writing was on the wall, so I wouldn't call him a massive disappointment.
true. I more just
I,
feel
Another
bad.
I
name
wouldn't
I would
say
bring up is Randy Rosarena. He's
Oh
been
my
absolutely
goodness.
terrible.
What a good one.
Yeah, I mean the Rays in general just been pretty bad. They're a middling team, but could have been better. But yeah, I mean Randy Rosarena is definitely up there.
for throwing names still into the ring. Matt Olson also been playing poorly this year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
He's only at 13 home runs on the season for a guy who's supposed to be, top of the pack when it comes to home run hitters. He's still slugging 389 because he's getting a good amount of doubles, but his batting average is, a 220. So he's not he's not connecting the way he typically does, and
yeah.
that's hurting a team like the Braves who are supposed to be contenders.
Another one I got are the like half of the Dodgers because you realize the second Mookie went down, you realized how much it's Shohei, Freddie, and Freddie, Max Muncy, and Mookie. It's just those four. James Outman's been a huge disappointment. Bobby Miller's been a huge disappointment. Kike Hernandez has been a huge disappointment. The list goes on and on for the Dodgers. They are so top heavy, and the top heaviness is what's going to get them probably very far in the playoffs, and they could still win a World Series. But you realize the depth, kind of similar to the Yankees in the regard. It's like the second one of their heavy hitters goes down, like, and now you need the reserves to step up. You realize the reserves are not stepping up. So I feel like the Dodgers have a lot of disappointments as well.
I mean, that's to be fair, that's any team. If you lose one of your top two, three guys, it's going to drastically impact the way you play. I think the problem is that, it was the Dodgers, and we thought it was an all-star lineup.
True. And you just learned it's a normal 1, 2, 3, 4, but there's 1, 2, 3, and 4 are three of the best players in the league.
Yeah.
Arguably four by position.
By position, yeah.
Will
They're
Smith is one of the best catchers in the league, year in, year out.
you'd argue if JT and Adley weren't around, he would be number one.
Yeah, easily a top 5, probably top 3 catcher in the league,
Yeah,
which
same.
helps a team like the Dodgers. The thing that helps the Dodgers, besides, their hitting's been bad, defensively, they're a very sound team, which is what's keeping them together so well. And their bullpen's also been really good. But yeah, just looking at it, besides the big names on the team, no one else is really producing.
Who do you? We'll go straight into the burning questions because I'm gonna finish off the last MLB question because it's kind of a good segue, Rob. Who do you guys think? Now that we know who have been the disappointing players, we know which teams have been disappointing. Who do you think is the marquee trade piece in this upcoming trade deadline? Who's gonna be the piece?
The piece.
Oh, that's tough.
I have one if I'm okay to go first.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mason Miller. I think all of the top teams have bullpen issues. Every single one. The Phillies, the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Orioles. I think because Felix Bautista's out, I think the Orioles actually will be just fine when he comes back. But all of these heavy-hitting teams all need bullpen help. Who's going to get the closer? Who's going to get that guy that for a lot of teams might be their 9th or 8th inning pitcher? That's going to be huge because he's the swing and miss 103 demon out there. So, and he's on the Athletics who want to get rid of him. Obviously, he's on the Athletics. So, I think it's going to be a high asking price, and who's going to make the payment?
I like that pick. It's a player on the A's getting traded. The only hiccup I see there is the years of control, which is really going to drive up the price for him. Because not only is he throwing 104 and has a nasty slider that pairs with it really well, he still has all the years of control left. And that's what's going to really drive up his price more than anything else. Is because if you're getting this guy, you're getting him for 3 years under contract. My pick, I'm going Luis Robert Jr. Chicago White Sox are a bad team. They are going to sell. He is their highest bargaining chip. He's 26 years old. He hits home runs like nobody else. He was hurt to start most of the year, so his numbers don't look like they're great. But when he's playing really well. And kind of like Miller, it's going to be a high asking price. But I feel like if you're going to trade for somebody who's worth the price, Luis Roberts it. And I have a feeling, we already brought up the T with a disappointing center fielder. Orioles have so many trade pieces in terms of prospects alone. And you need a solid guy in center field. Go grab Luis Robert.
Are the White Sox willing to trade him?
Yes, I have no doubt
How could
about
you not
that.
be?
They're horrendous.
They're not
They had
contending.
They had one of the worst starts in Major League Baseball history.
Yeah, but a guy to build around. You want hope. Someone to build around.
Yeah, you get hope in the prospects. No
Yeah,
one on this team is anything.
And he only has, like we were talking about years of control. Like Mason Miller has a lot of years of control. Luis Roberts been playing since 2020. He only has 2 full seasons of control, if I'm doing my math right. Maybe less, depending on how many years he actually played in the minors. So you don't have the control chip with him. You just have the fact that he's a really good ball player. And if you want to sign a guy to build around like Luis Robert, you would have done it already. You'd have had the talks. We have heard rumors that they were trying to sign Luis Robert to an extension, even a cheap one, because he was young and you're trying to, save some money, sign a guy while he's young for long term. Kind of like what Kansas City did with Bobby Witt. Bobby Witt still got paid, but it wasn't, a superstar free agent contract.
And it's not like the White Sox have to focus up on baseball. They can talk off season all day.
Exactly. And there's never even been a rumor that, hey, they might pay Luis Robert this offseason. They might try and, extend him. I've never heard a rumor like that once. So if you're a team that's in last place, getting no results, just losing year in, year out, and you have a guy you can trade away and get a good haul in for, Luis Roberts your guy.
Isn't their ace Kopech also going to be on the market as well?
I think Kopech's definitely going to be on the market, but I think, if we're talking in terms of big splash, Robert is a
I heard
much
Crochet too.
anyone on the White Sox really who's
Yeah,
doing
they're all
anything. Like any player who's not just terrible on the White Sox is a bargaining chip this year.
yeah.
Hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised
Um,
if you see two of them go in a package.
so the two rumors I've heard that I've been most interested by was first, I'll just say this one because we've already kind of talked about it. Specifically Bo Bichette, but honestly the entire Blue Jays franchise. I mean, I wouldn't be jaw to the floor shocked if they even moved from Guerrero, even though I don't think they will. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where they move their pieces because they have some tradable pieces. Or they could just, reload and build for next year and try and get a little bit younger. But yeah, I want to see what they do. The other one that I've been very interested by because it's a big move. Tariq Skubal, I've heard to the Orioles a couple times. They would need to, send the farm over there, but that could make them very dangerous to add a pitcher like that this late in the season.
Detroit feels like they're so close. That's why if they are sellers, it'd be a real bummer. Because I feel like they're so
But
close.
yeah, but they're so close, but they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, I feel like if you get the farm, the whole
And they
Orioles
will.
farm, yeah,
That's why
you do
I
it.
only hear
It's
Tariq to the Orioles. That's the only thing you hear
they're
is
the only
because
team
they're
that
the
can
only
afford them.
team that's willing to give that much up because they have the best farm right now, and they can pay for them.
Can I throw out just a crazy name? Probably won't happen, but based off of the team, we keep talking about the Orioles. Orioles have a superstar shortstop in Gunnar Henderson. They also have one of the best prospect shortstops in Jackson Holliday. They trust Gunnar Henderson. Jackson Holliday has one hit to his name in Major League Baseball through 20 games. You don't need another shortstop in the long term. You don't want to waste this guy's career in the minors, and you can get whatever you want for
Maybe Tariq Skubal.
him. If you waste Jackson Holliday on a Tariq Skubal trade,
I don't know,
throw
man.
away
He's
the
the way he's
franchise.
pitching.
Could you imagine?
It has to be more than Tariq Skubal if
I
you're
don't know
giving away
about that.
Jackson. No, it
No,
does.
I'd say one for one. That's not the worst deal. You
I
got an
think you might
ace
have to throw
for
in extra.
yeah. I think Jackson Hall, based on his one hit in 20 games, his asking price
I,
just went down tremendously.
I would much rather have Tariq Skubal on my roster. I don't know.
But I still think it's an upgrade from Javier Baez if you're Detroit.
Yeah, because it's also a pickup for the future. But I mean,
I'd say,
right now he's not worth an ace caliber pitcher.
would you give Spencer Jones for Tariq Skubal straight up? I think
Um, I, if I'm
He's
being
not
honest,
he's not worth Tariq Skubal.
I don't think any prospect is worth a one for one trade
no.
just because you don't know what they're going to do. And, like I said, like we
Didn't
said
you
with
just say
Holiday,
we're gonna have to throw an extra for Holiday?
well, no, because you can't, like, exactly. There's going to be extra on both sides for a trade like that because you can't do the one for one. Like, it just won't happen. And I think,
I think
if
you're
you,
gonna have to load up on the Orioles side.
I don't know. I don't think so. See, here's something I always think, right? You get Jackson Holiday, you get one or two more prospects also in there. But besides, Scooble, you can also get in somebody like if you need bullpen help, someone like Chafin, who's, on the older side, but a lefty arm who is always consistent like him is always a good grab. And, there's other bench pieces that you could pick up from the Detroit, like even Mark Canna, just to have a veteran on your bench like him. It wouldn't be a one for one deal. It'd be one of those trades where it's like, here's just a
Those
bunch of
three,
dudes going for a bunch of dudes.
those three, you're giving up the farm, and probably Kowser's involved in that.
I
Right.
mean, you got to trade everybody to
You got to
get
trade
those guys.
everybody. Kowser is probably going to be involved in that trade because you're
Well,
basically saying, I'm going to lose Canna. I'm going to get Canna, but I got to get rid of a prospect. They ain't going to want Cedric Mullins. I mean, the Orioles have enough confidence in Cedric to figure it out. Now we're going to throw Kowser in there. And now it looks real good because now you got Holiday, Cowser, another probably pitching prospect. Now it looks like the fruits of the labor because you got a guaranteed starter and you got a potential superstar and then another potential star pitcher. Then that starts to make a lot more sense.
I wouldn't call Marcana a superstar,
No, no,
but
no. I'm saying on the Detroit side. I'm
No,
Detroit.
this is what they have to give up.
This is what they have to give up. If I'm Detroit, I'm getting rid of my ace, a starter, and my setup, or even sometimes closer. I'm. I think I would want more
Just
than.
for Scooble alone, you're gonna have to give up probably 3 prospects.
Yeah, you got to give up Holiday and probably two other people.
Yeah,
A
no
pitcher, a
way. I
pitcher, and
mean,
a
dude,
fielder.
he's one of the best pitchers in the league this season.
He was a Cy Young candidate last year. If it weren't for Garrett Cole, he would have won it.
no, I get that. But he's also, I, listen, when I'm throwing in names like Andrew Chafin, they're not adding huge trade value for
Andrew
Detroit.
Chafin. I would
Andrew
say Andrew
Chafin's
Chafin's.
34
He's
as a
34,
pitcher.
but he's a setup man. A setup man is a very important role. A setups and closers are worth more than just normal relief pitchers. They're worth a lot. He's a setup man, and he's pitched a lot of high leverage innings in MLB.
Yes, which is important, but he's also old. He also has a very, very tradable contract.
Yeah, but you
If
don't think other people would want to trade for Chafin that have,
no,
that could go on a run?
no, exactly. People do. But
That's going to
if
drive up the
you're
price right there.
You want Chafin in the sixth inning? That's amazing. If you could get him, I'm giving up a lot if I could have him as my sixth inning pitcher, seventh inning pitcher, even eighth for a contending team because I know he knows what he's going to go through. He's going to be calmer than a 29-year-old that has a year on the contract. These are win now teams. And in that situation, you want a guy that knows what he's doing.
exactly. But I don't think I think either especially in this scenario, you're not getting one player for one team and just a bunch of prospects from the other. You're trying to get as much as you can in one trade. That's what they try and do with every trade. Sure, if you're looking for one player specifically, you go and get that guy and you give up what you give up. But if you're looking to make a team that is a contender, like the Orioles, you're looking for any pieces you can pluck from a team. So if you say, I know I'm already doing a big trade, trying to get from Detroit, let me see what else I can get in this deal. And I was just looking at those rosters. Those are the three names that I think the Orioles would try and get, to add on to it. I don't think that, Detroit should really sell all that much, but if they're going to sell anyone, I have a feeling it's going to be Chafin. It might be, someone like Matt Vierling or even Mark Canha. So I just don't think when the Orioles trade or when any team trades, they're really looking for that one piece. They're plucking.
Can I put out a trade offer here? Like a trade idea that I had in my mind? I think that throw Brent Rooker and Mason Miller. The Yankees give Spencer Jones. They give you Oswaldo Cabrera. And they give you one more piece. Another piece in the farm, someone else. Does that make a lot of sense? The athletic and cash considerations probably as well will go into that.
Okay, the only thing I have an issue with that is the Yankees farm system has a lot of middle infielders too that I think they're much more willing to give up than someone like Spencer Jones, just because the Yankees don't know if they're getting Juan Soto back. And if Juan Soto is not back, Spencer Jones is the first piece up. And I think they want to keep him. I think the only way they trade him away is if they get a really good offer for him.
True. I would say Oswald Peraza is
Why
gone.
would the Yankees need to trade for another starting pitcher? They have 6 on their roster right now.
Mason Miller and Brent Rooker, relief pitcher and
Left
right
fielder.
fielder, left fielder.
Oh, is he
Right
a
fielder.
relief pitcher?
Yeah, Mason Miller's a closer.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Well, that makes a lot more sense then. That might be a decent trade. I don't think you'll get him for that price.
It depends. It depends on how much they want to get rid of Brent Rooker too, because they probably also want to drop him because he has value, and he's going to cost them money. so they don't
There's
want
a name on the A's that's doing pretty good this year. It's this fella named Miguel Andujar. I think he might look good in pinstripes.
no. It was such a bad ending. Such
Well,
a
you don't want to
bad.
get Andujar back.
It's
Pick
like
up Clint Frazier too. While we're at it, we can start all the Andujar Clint Frazier trades again.
Vice go back into the 2010s. Like,
Yeah, why not?
back
Good
when
shot.
back before. Oh my goodness. Back in high school.